Shalom Aleichem, and back to our Parents at Risk workshop. We're in the middle of discussing the 10 triggers that parents have that causes them to lose their equilibrium and often make fatal mistakes. The third one we're going to discuss today is shame. The religious cheshbonos that we may have had that make us sometimes do the wrong thing, which is the chiyuv of chinuch or teichacha, that we've discussed previously. And now we just have to deal with the very real human issues, and the first one being shame. Having a son or daughter walk around in the most disrespectful way, sometimes very tastelessly, it's a cause for a tremendous amount of shame, insult, embarrassment, often offending, and that very much triggers us. Understandably so. How are we going to deal with that? So the 6 points I'd like to mention, we'll take them in order. Number one, accept and own the fact that it's extremely difficult to be at that end of an insult, especially when it's coming from a child, somebody we've done so much for and continue doing so much for, and it looks as if they're slapping us in the face. It's very, very challenging and very painful. The Gemara Boba Metzia Daf Nun Ches Amud Beis writes that embarrassing somebody is almost like killing them. The Gemara says that if you have to embarrass somebody in order to save yourself from being thrown into the fire, better to jump into the fire. It's very, very painful. Let's accept that. It's Yisurim in its purest form. Yisurim as in pain, infliction in its purest form. Once we've accepted that we're in pain, what's step two? The same two questions we have to ask ourselves hundreds of times every day. Does Hashem know about it? Does Hashem let it happen? Yes, Hashem knows exactly what we're going through. He's allowing it to happen. So what does Hashem want us to deal with it? How does He want us to respond? So the sugya called Yisurim is one which the Gemara speaks about in very many places, that Hashem often gives us Yisurim because He wants to teach us how to accept and embrace situations even if we don't understand why. Hashem wants us to understand and to accept the fact that He understands why. We don't have to understand why. Yisurim are our opportunity to show Hashem that we loyally, humbly, happily, and lovingly accept and submit ourselves to His judgment because He knows what He's doing. Rashi tells us in Brochos that Yisurim very often take us to very high positions in Olam Habah. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah Daf Nun Hey tells us that Yisurim will come exactly the second they're supposed to. They will not stay hanging around for a second longer than they're supposed to. The second that they've done their job, they will go away. This is not about our child hurting us. This is about Hashem sending Yisurim in our direction. It's tailor-made for us with all its challenge and all the difficulty, and we point a finger at Hashem and at ourselves, not at our child. Hashem is just using the child to be the one, the stick, that is giving us these Yisurim. We have to feel sorry for the child, because if Hashem is allowing us to feel this pain, it's because we need to have this pain, and the poor kid is stuck in the middle. Let's take it one level further. The Ramak, the Rebbe of the Arizal, followed by the Arizal, followed by his Talmud Reb Chaim Vital, they all write at length that Yisurim, and especially those that come from being embarrassed and shamed by others, are the greatest investment in the world. They say that if we knew what they were worth, we would run after them, we would pay people to embarrass us. All the kapara that we have, there's nothing that gives us kapara like Yisurim does. There's nothing which gives us schar, and we should be running after it. We should get used to saying every day, thank you Hashem for the bizyonos. There are tzaddikim who would trade other tragedies and losses with shame and embarrassment. There was one tzaddik who, family member was very sick, and he actually went out and almost invited bizyonos onto himself. And every time he managed to get a tremendous dose of bizyonis, he knew that his child would be okay. On one occasion that didn't work, and he came home with the sad news saying, this didn't work, I don't think that family member is going to survive the night, and she didn't. Let's take this one step further, number 4. We have a child who's unfortunately not going around and not doing what we would expect or hope from him. It's embarrassing us. Well, is this really an embarrassing situation? Embarrassment is measured by what other people say. If other people think that we are failures, that we are rejects, we've done things wrong with our chinuch, or whatever we feel people are thinking. Gone are the days where people think that only bad parents have challenged teenagers. People know that in every family and wherever you go, there are challenges in chinuch, especially in today's generation. They're actually watching us with amazement to see how we're channeling our strengths. Are we using our strength to fight the child, or are we using an even inner greater strength of restraint? Our value goes up in people's eyes when they see how we accept, nurture, and caress a child who's in so much pain. People are actually proud of us, knowing how much we're going through and nonetheless not rejecting the child. Having a child who's suffering or not towing the line is often more of a pride on ourselves. It's a difficult situation. But when other people are looking at us, they're looking at us with pride more than with contempt. The 5th point, and an important one. When the situation is more and more embarrassing, it's an opportunity where you can show your child that they mean to you even more. I know of a parent who, here in Kiryat Sefer, publicly went for a walk with their child, even though their child was seriously infringing on everything that was important to the town. And at some point, this child asked the father, "Are you not embarrassed?" And the father says, "Who cares what other people think? You mean even more, and I'm enjoying my time with you." He went out of his way to be in an embarrassing situation just in order to show his daughter that she means even more to him. And that penetrated very far into her heart. Let's use this challenge and not view it as a punishment, rather as a challenge, opportunity, and responsibility that not only can we afford to miss, but who would want to dismiss it? Looking forward to meeting you all next time.